Learning objectives. In this chapter, the user would learn the following in detail: web architectures, WML, XHTML-MP, XML, J2ME, Java to microedition, J2ME. J2ME, a set of Java APIs which require small memory while developing Java applications. Also a platform for development of mobile phone games. Windows mobile devices do not support J2ME. J2ME platform binary implementations and virtual machine implementation are done by another source not from Windows. A micro edition of J2SE, which provides for configuring the runtime environment. Examples of configuring: deleting the exception handling classes, user-defined class loaders, file classes, AWT classes, synchronized threads, thread groups, multi-dimensional arrays, and long and floating data types. Mobile smartphone, handheld computing system, and set-top box have constraints of memory. Mobile devices may also have network and other resource constraints. J2SE needs 512 KB ROM and 512 KB RAM in a device. CLDC, Connected Limited Device Configuration, and CDC, Connected Device Configuration, provide the development platform for small memory devices and systems. Profiles means a standardized agreed upon subset and interpretation of a specification. Also mean a specification for a set of configuration, settings, and other data which are used in the APIs for a device, user, or group of devices. Also mean a standardized specification for the APIs for a device, user, or group of devices. J2ME framework-based devices use Java APIs specified in a profile. Foundation profile: APIs of J2SE without GUIs. Personal profile: profile for embedded devices, for example PDAs and set-top boxes, and contains the APIs of Foundation profile, complete AWT, as well as lightweight GUIs and applet classes. Mobile Information Device Profile (MIDP). Profile for mobile devices with small screen option for JUIs, wireless connectivity, and greater than 128 KB flash memory. MIDP, a specification of APIs for mobile information, smartphone, and gaming devices. MIDLET, a J2ME application similar to an applet for embedded devices which runs with MIDP. Midlet main class is a subclass of Java X.microedition.midlet. Midlets are programmed to run games and phone applications. Also, they are compiled once and are platform independent. A midlet has to fulfill certain requirements in order to run on a mobile phone. MIDP source packages and sets of Java class libraries. Java.lang, standard Java types and classes for string, integer, math, thread, security, and exception. Java.io, standard Java types and classes for input and output streams. Java X.microedition.lcdui, LCDUI for mobile devices with no internet connectivity, provides a limited set of UIs in mobile devices. Text box, form, list, and canvas low-level graphics as well as full-screen games graphics mode. Graphics needed for games. MIDP controls the GUIs. Java.util, a set of classes such as timers, calendars, dates, hash tables, vectors, and others. JavaX.microEdition.rms, a record management system RMS API to retrieve and save data and limited querying capability. JavaX.microEdition.pim, Personal Information Management API optional, access the device's address book. JavaX.microEdition.pki, Secure Connections Authenticate APIs. JavaX.microEdition.messaging, Wireless messaging APIs used when sending SMS and MMS messages. MIDP 3.0, a profile for special featured phones and handheld devices, provides improved UIs, UI extensibility, and interoperability between the devices. Moreover, it supports multiple network interfaces in a device, IPv6 Internet Protocol version 6 for broadband internet, large display devices, high-performance games, provisioning for midlets using SyncML, DMDS device management and device synchronization protocol, Bluetooth, removable media, example, memory stick or card, and MMS. Enables the following: auto starting of midlet on device booting, running several midlets concurrently and sharing the class libraries for midlet, running background midlets without a UI, specifications of the runtime behavior, proper firewalling and lifecycle managing functions for midlets, enabling midlets to draw to secondary displays, specifications of the behavior of midlets in the CLDC and CDC, enables inter-midlet communication, similar to inter-process communication between the processes controlled by an OS, which in turn allows querying of device capabilities required to be done when a server service is to discover the device services. Information Module Profile IMP, for embedded devices, for example, security systems or vending machines which have no display UIs and game APIs. IMLET, an application created from IMP APIs. IMLET is inherited from midlet. Auto and TV profiles. Auto profile, AutoP, a profile for automobile application development. TV profile, TVP, a profile for TV set-top box application development. Configuration. Configuration is a subset of a profile. Configuration, CLDC. CLDC is a configuration for limited connected devices, defines a base set of APIs and VM for the resource-constrained mobile phones or handheld computers, a subset of MIDP. Used for developing Java applications. Usually, CLDC can just connect to mobile application service provider and have less than 64 kbps data transfer rate. CLDC has minimal needed subset of the Java class libraries running on virtual machine for a CLDC. CLDC profiles and source packages, a configuration for the MIDP which does not provide for the applets AWT, Beans, Math, Net, RMI, Security, SQL and text packages in the java.lang. CLDC Virtual Machine (KVM) does not support weak references, which means full object reference to the object must be used for reaching to the object in the application program. Configuration CDC. A configuration for connected devices, a Java framework for developing an application that can be shared in network devices. For example, set-top boxes. CDC provides a J2ME framework for an applications which run on wirelessly connected devices and APIs for HTTP. The device will need 2.5 MB flash or ROM and 2 MB RAM. Set-top box is an example of connected device. CDC profiles and source packages. A configuration for the foundation and personal profiles, TV profile or auto profile, which includes classes inherited from a limited number of classes at net, security, IO, reflect, security.cert, text, text.resources, util, jar, and zip packages. CDC Virtual Machines. CVM Coherent Virtual Machine for multi-protocol and multi-threading support. Wireless Application Protocol WAP offers open development platform for applications WAP 2.0 and WAP 1.1. WAP 1.1 architecture defines a set of protocols. There are 3 layers in the protocol which are for wireless transmission and reception. Has the following layers: transport layer, transaction layer, session layer. Wireless Datagram Protocol WDO used for transmitting and receiving datagram over network. Application layer L7 includes Wireless Application Environment WAE. WAP markup language is used in place of HTML of wired environment. WAP 1.1 architecture. Figure A shows functions of WAE. Figure B shows protocol layers WAP 1.1 transmitter and gateway. WAP 1.1 gateway required for protocol conversions between two ends, mobile client device and HTTP server. Gateway converts WAE 1.1, WSP, WTP, WTLS and UDP layers encoded data packets into the HTTP, TLS in HTTPs and UDP layers encoded data packets when the device transmits data to server. Does decoding when the server sends data to client through the gateway. WAP gateway provides access to wireless and wired networks. Ensures security in wireless and wired networks. Also builds caches required due to frequent disconnections in wireless networks. HTTP server environment provides only pull mode service. Pull mode means a client sends a request and pulls data from server as a response. WAP has provisions for both push and pull. WAP gateway also has WML encoder decoder. Another function gateway performs is IWML script compilation. CGI script is obtained from the compilation which runs at the HTTP server to get HTML response which is sent to the client application. WAP 2.0 architecture. WAP 2.0 enables HTTP over the wireless as well as wired TCP/IP client. HTTP is modified to a version called XHTML. WAP gateway is not required for conversion of WBXML to HTTP. WAP proxy server is used in place of a gateway. Wireless Markup Language WML. Tags are used for markup before and after a text, done to give the characteristic information, a specific meaning to the text, define the specific function or action of the text. The definition of attribute along with the tag provides the data or additional characteristic information for the text within a pair of start and end tags. Mobile device characteristics. Narrow bandwidth network connection with intermittent loss of connectivity. String parameterization and state management, for example, display state management. Constraints of limited user input and output facilities. T9 keypad input. Text presentation in a layout with small display screen or image of pictogram presentation on a screen with small resolution. Constraints of computational resources and limited memory. WAP 1.1 has two sets of software, WAE, Wireless Application Environment User Agent, and WAE Services. HTML page contains text, image presentation, forms, and hypertext links. These links enable client to navigate from one page to another. Link is defined using a URI or URL. WML is used for wireless environment. There are two versions, WML 2.x and WML 1.x. WML 2.x includes XHTML-MP, which includes XHTML. WML 1.x does not include XHTML. WML card. WML is used to create the cards for mobile applications. WML card is a scaled-down set of procedural elements used to control navigation between cards. A card represents an interaction with the user and the deck contains the cards. Has following features. Provides the content, for example, a program, command, data, string, or image. Supports variety of formatting commands as well as layout commands. Commands are defined by tags and attributes. Provides user interface for mobile devices with constraints as mentioned in the preceding text. Organizers similar to deck and cards. All information in WML is a collection of decks and cards. A WML deck is saved in a file with extension WML. Each file contains one deck. For example, a welcome deck can be saved in a WML file welcome.wml. WML card is first validated against its declared document type using WML 1.3 DTD document type definition before parsing. Parsed data, information, and contents used to give input to a Java program for the application or server which runs methods at the browser or server. Browser program runs at the client. WinWAP has an emulator, which is an alternative program used for emulating the actual run at the mobile client and runs on a PC. WinWAP is for a computing system running on Pocket PC, Windows Mobile 2003 or Windows operating system. Application running using WML card. A WML card containing a client request is transmitted and response is received from server. After decoding, gateway communicates the request to the server in HTML format. Server generates an HTML response by employing methods which run at the server. Element do is used to process the text within the do tags. The element label is an attribute which defines a text, the purpose of which is simply to specify the incoming text or action. Label text is not the inputs to any program or processing element. Find below example of a program using element do. WML tags B, U, I, big, small, strong and EM for bold, underline, italic, big, small, strong and emphasis rendering respectively for a text display. HTML anchor tag A with attribute href is equal to is used for linking and navigation in WML also. Timer. The actions on events are by the tags on timer, on event backward, on event forward and on event pick. The renderings after the actions on the events occur as per the interior paragraph entities. XHTML MP. Hypertext Markup Language HTML. HTML is not rigid in syntax. For example, if the end tag corresponding to a start tag or an inverted comma is missing or some other syntax error is present, then also the HTML browser will interpret it somehow, makes the required assumptions, has limited number of tags, does not support very small or multiple screen sizes or reduced pixel resolution required to fit an image or pictogram on the screen, does not support multiple ways of user inputs, does not let the user give inputs by using different keys, keypads, stylus with touchscreen, and voice while interacting with the device. Moreover, HTML does not allow state transitions based on user inputs and displayed information. Extensible Markup Language XML. Rigid in syntax and needs the document to be well-formed, syntactically correct. Does not make any assumptions. Uses the corresponding DTD for validation of the document. XML can be encoded into other formats and then retrieved back into original format. For example, it can be encoded in WBXML for transmission and WBXML can be decoded back into XML on reception. Is in document form and is textual and structured. Extremely valuable in developing GUIs, VUIs or any other human interface with computer. Due to the feature of extensibility, XML supports the use of very small or multiple screen sizes or reduced pixel resolution. It also supports multiple ways of user inputs, that is, inputs from different keys, keypads, stylus with touchscreen, and voice inputs when a user is interacting with the device. Due to its extensibility feature, XML has unlimited number of tags and allows state transitions based on user inputs and displayed information. Xlink feature of XML facilitates the state transitions and display of nested menus. XML-based languages SyncML, Funable, SMIL and WML for enabling the development of data synchronization applications, Java applications, multimedia interchange applications and web device applications respectively. XHTML. XHTML has two forms, XHTML Basic, XHTML MP. XHTML Basic is HTML with strict syntax. XHTML MP is for mobile devices and PDAs. An XHTML document can be parsed using a standard XML library and processed like any other standard XML document, but using the same set of tags as in HTML. XHTML 1.1, a W3C recommendation since middle of 2001, can be partitioned into modules and provides for navigation from one module to another. This feature is characteristic of Xlink. For example, WML deck is partitioned into cards and navigation from one card to another is permitted through hyperlinks. XHTML Basic does not support scripting but supports the basic forms with post, get features as in case of HTML. It supports tables but not the client-side style sheets, since small devices are assumed to possess small computation resources. Frames are also not supported in basic XHTML. XHTML 2.0. New features added. The elements can function as hyperlink or with SRC attribute. The SRC is attribute which specifies a source file, for example, a JPG image file. This feature is similar to the cards in WML. XHTML 2.0 User Agent Parser is compatible with XHTML 1.1. HTML form will be replaced by XML-based user input specification and can be displayed as per user specifications and on the appropriate display devices called XForms. XFrames, new features compared to HTML frames. The document object model DOM events, now XML events, and will use XML DOM. Has a number of modules. Examples are edit, presentation, meta information, abstract or title of information, which specify how and what the full information are of a document, text, list, table, forms, structures, targets, bidirectional text, style sheets, server-side image map, client-side image map, scripting, and link. XML. Extensible Markup Language, XML. A derivative of SGML, Standard Generalized Markup Language. Extensible means that special instances of the tag-based languages can be defined such that each instance observes the fundamental rules of representing and structuring the XML document. An XML-based language uses the extensible property of XML to define the standardized sets of instances of the tags, attributes, and their representation and behavior and other characteristics. Example, SyncML, Funambule, and SMIL. A markup language is used for presentation of the marked tagged textual content. An encapsulated text is processed, displayed, or printed as per the tag. A browser is used for the presentation. XML or XML-based language not only encapsulates the data and metadata, but can represent a behavior or set of actions. XML document. XML document can have a text with the tags, and tags may have attributes. The XML document has an extension .xml. A tag in the document specifies the meaning of the text encapsulated within the start and corresponding end tag. Example below shows XML document which can be used as contacts in a mobile smartphone. Use of XML text document as XML database. XML document can represent a database using the tags. A pair of start and end tag in the document specifies the start and end of a record in the database. A database used to retrieve the specific record or set of records by querying the database or by business logic transaction. Example of XML for textual document to represent a database. Refer example. The elements name underscore record, address and till number describe textual content. Name underscore record has a textual content Raj Kamal and two elements address ABC Street and till number 98765-43210 within it. A document found by XML document creating a database named contacts. Use of XML text document as a command. A tag can represent a command. For processing the data using the command name within the pair of start and end tags in the document text. A tag along with its attributes can specify the command, source files and data to process the command. Find below an example. When data is modified, for example, new email or newly downloaded music file at the server, PC or remote mail server, the server alerts the client so that the client can synchronize its data with the modified data. Command alert means a server or client-initiated notification. A number within CMDREF refers to a notification. In place of transmitting full text of the server notification for alerting the client, only a number is sent. The client at the other end interprets the notification from the referred number. Command refers to a command referred by one within CMDREF and /CMDREF. Server messages which is used to alert is identified by one as there is a reference to one within the start and end tags MSDREF and /MSDREF. Document type definitions DTDs of XML documents. XML document has DTDs either within the document or in a separate DTD file. DTD within the document gives the specification of the role of text elements in a model document, specifies the attributes associated with an element as well as their valid values. An external DTD document has file extension .dtd. Functions of DTD. To enable validation of a document. To specify which document structures can be used for authoring of the document. To specify which structures a parser must handle. Parsing XML document. A parser first validates an XML document and then handles the specified document structures. Needs the DTDs for validation of the document. Validation means investigating whether the document contains a root element with the same name as of DTD, whether it contains the header information for the version, encoding and reference to other files, whether it contains the DTD with declaration of the markups in the document or in the linked external DTD document. KXML parser is a parser which parses XML document using J2ME and KVM kilobyte virtual machine in mobile devices. .NET XML parsers in Microsoft Windows Mobile and Windows CE based devices. WAP 1.x supports XML parser. Enables processing of WML wireless markup languages. Models of XML document and parsing. One model is called SAX, Simple API for XML model. Other DOM, Document Object Model. Two types of parsers for documents based on SAX and DOM models. SAX, Simple API for XML model of XML document. Each set of elements within the tags is independent and need not be considered as in a tree-like structure. SAX provides the API a serial access and event-driven mechanism for reading and parsing data from an XML document. SAX model document is such that its parser can generate the series of events which are created as processing proceeds from beginning to end. Application needs to find a contact with name record Rajkamal and dial the corresponding tel number. Generates an event on name_record as it parses through the record and on event accepts the value Rajkamal. Then it generates another event on tel number as it parses through the document and on event accepts the value 98765432210. Demonstrates SAX parser of XML document and an alternative arrangement of elements for each contact in the contacts, which helps in fast processing by the parser. Advantages of XML SAX parser. Entire document need not be first parsed thoroughly. All the needed data need not be extracted. Document Object Model DOM of an XML document, in which each set of elements is dependent and derives from a root element. Whole document forms a tree-like structure. DOM model document hierarchically arranged. The whole document must be parsed initially to create a hash table of keys and corresponding values for each key. Advantage of DOM. The structure is well defined and thus same parser can be used for parsing all XML documents. Later, the interpreter or processing program is able to extract the desired information by simply using the keys. Disadvantage of DOM. In an intermittently connected wireless environment or in case of a long document with many levels of hierarchy, it could take a long time before whole document is received at the parsing end. Figure below shows DOM parser of an XML document. Applications of parsed information and data. Uses extracted output information and data from the parser, further processing using a programming language. The parsed data interprets at the application. Example of applications. Create ascending or descending order tabular data as per selection by the user. Count the number of contacts. Display the desired contact using appropriate GUI by deploying up-down menu keys in the keypad. Examples of XML usage. Database. Data objects for synchronization, device configuration, user interface. Forms for processing of data at the server. Web applications at the server. Web services. Representing behavior of or action by a tag and its attributes. An integrator of two diverse platforms for running an application. As a client application, when sending a request to server for data or result of executing a method, routine, or search of database record at the associated backend server. Used by server to push the data to devices. Used by WAP protocol for presentation of data to client using an XML browser. For multimodal user interfaces. Internally for specifying the information in an application or framework. Used by HTML browser after translating XML information into HTML information using a technology called XSLT, Extensible Style Sheet Language Transformation. XHTML MP format of XML used as HTML web pages with portability and extensibility in mobile devices. Use of metadata in XML document to represent the relationships between the data in the document, to describe the structure and workable methods to facilitate an organized use of information, to describe the method to manage that information. Application in metadata can be used to speed up and enrich searching for the resources, organizing the information and managing the data. XML-based standards and formats for applications. The tags and attributes and markup language format can be standardized for the applications. XML for forms, XForms. An application may generate a form for answering the queries at server end, which needs to be filled and submitted by the client end. XForms is a form in XML format which specifies a data processing model for XML data and UIs for the XML data. Have several UIs, user interfaces, like text area fields, buttons, checkboxes, and radios. Has the fields keys which are initially specified. Fields either have no initial field values or default field values. Presented to a user using a browser or presentation software, and user interactions take place. The user supplies the values for these fields by entering text into the fields, checking the checkboxes, and selecting the radio. The user then submits the form, which is transmitted from client to server for carrying out the needed form processing. The server program can be at remote web server or at the device computing system. Web forms, which can also be used in a standalone manner or with presentation languages other than the ones for a set of common data manipulation tasks or user interface. XForms controls text area, input, secret, a string data type attached with these fields, select one for a radio, choices for checkboxes, item, item set. XForms attributes. Input control are ref and XML:lang. XML:lang is equal to en enables use of XML. The other attributes are access key, NAV index, and class. XForms elements: alert, caption, hint, extension. XML for forms, XForms. There are client-side as well as server-side validations done before processing of the XForms, similar to XML data validation. XML User Interface, XUI, a framework in XML and Java for mobile and mobile handheld device applications. WBXML, WAP Binary Markup Language, a format in which WAP presents XML document as binary numbers. A binary number represents a string of characters for each element and attribute. Use of the number reduces the size of the document and hence the transmission time from client to gateway or gateway to client. Voice XML, VXML 2.0. Version of an XML-based language in use from 2004 for interactive talking between a human being and a computer. Also supported by IBM WebSphere. Used with HTTP protocol on a network analogous to that for HTML. Voice XML VXML 2.0 browser. Analogous to an HTML display browser, example Netscape or Internet Explorer 5.0. Interfaces with mobile or landline telephone network. Provides a voice user interface VUI to a voice browser. Applications of VXML, bank account inquiry, report of loss of credit card, directory, flight inquiry. The tags in VXML. For playing a sound file from audiobook, automatic speech recognition, dialogue management, speech synthesis by voice browser. Example: prompt, Hello Lucy. Prompt gives the message Hello Lucy using speech synthesizer with the voice browser. Conversion of text to speech TTS. The displayed text message from a website for control of traffic and congestions at nearby places. In a moving automobile, TTS required that the site data is downloaded and read and spoken to a driver. SSML, Speech Synthesis Markup Language. Used in TTS, Text-to-Speech Converter. For synthesizing the speech by interpretation of a text by a synthesizer. Creates audiobook. Also specifies emphasis of the voice. For example, it specifies when the voice is normal and when it is loud. SSML can be embedded in VXML scripts. The scripts provide an interactive telephone. Tags with attribute in SSML. XML:lang. Specify attribute English. Yes space XML:lang is equal to EN. Specifies the synthesis source for voice as voice name is equal to Mary, gender is equal to female, age is equal to 22. The text is then synthesized by spoken English in voice of Miss Mary of age 22. Speech Recognition Grammar Specification SRGS. Used in SSML to let speech recognizer to define the pattern of sentences. Called Control Extensible Markup Language CCXML. A standard for an XML-based language which can be used independently or with VXML for telephony support. Commands the browser to handle the calls of the voice channel. CCXML 2.0 handles the events and state transitions. Example for commands: initial call setup or call disconnect between a caller and voice browser. Example of transitions: call setup to call connected state or call connected to disconnected state. Conclusion. In this chapter, we have covered the following in detail: web architectures, WML, XHTML-MP, XML, J2ME.